buddy. Welcome to Millenia. I am your host here today, the Millenia Mailman. Be ye entity of any of one of the coils, a man, woman, child, spirit, creature, demon. Be ye a native migrator, or even if you're an invader in these lands, I welcome you into this realm of Millenia. For I am your host, the Millenia Mailman. And I want nothing more than you to sit back and relax and enjoy this Funny Guy Friday. And pretty much enjoy, because I will always be world building for you long after you've already begun to acclimate and fit in. But yes, week number 8, Devil's Advocate perspective was that capitalism economics will only stop getting worse for the common people when the families decide that they're going to stop dividing. Because all the richest companies are family owned or family oriented because of supply and demand. The richest individuals, people, are just subset factors of products of their families and so on and so forth. Right? But let's get into it. Right, capitalism economics will only stop getting worse for the common people when the families of the common people stop dividing. First and foremost on this topic of conversation for the Devil's Advocate was that economics is all about supply and demand, right? You eat, sleep, play, or develop, right? And the capitalist economics of America and the way the founding fathers have so big-brained structured the American society to be able to develop was rooted, had inherently, be it on purpose or on accident, had effectively made the basic necessities of that life and liberty of ESPD, eat, sleep, play, and develop. They made American economics rooted in those 3 to 4 things here: what you eat, where you sleep, and what the hell you feel like doing with your day. Those are constant and never changing. These 3 things that you ultimately resolve everything in your life as a living person. The things you put in your body in order to live, the place you sleep in order for you to de-stress, and what the heck you feel like doing to stress and tense up your body, or do the very opposite, make your body better, whatever. Whatever you do, wherever you sleep, and whatever you eat, devour, and drink, those are never changing, and thus, because they're never changing and absolutely necessary to any and all people, they are thus inherent liberties. So American capitalist economics revolves around those particular things that get supplied and demanded by any and everyone. So with that being the bare bone basic building blocks of American capitalist economics, that thus means the only way American capitalist economics is going to go flippy floppy, wild, and out of whack is when those 3 things are put out of balance, when those 3 things are found to be relatively unattainable, when those 3 things are maddening, right? And I already said it once before, but America was set up and structured for families. It was an escape from tyranny and patriarchy. So it was structured away from those noble, rich, high horse people for the common people, for the common families, for those farmers, for those whatever. It was structured for families. So all the problems individuals who seek to be individuals or say screw having kids, screw having a family. Life is too hard as it is. It's ironically always going to be harder for you as an individual, because American society was structured for families to grow and then for individuals to grow out of their families, but still for the families. You're supposed to grow out of your family and develop a new one, right? But I'm kind of jumping the gun. Let's get back on it, right? The eat, sleep, play, develop. The things you eat and drink, those are held at constant prices generally. Here in America, you're not ever really necessarily expected to starve. I got a nice big little belly here. I said that earlier in the week, right? So this big belly proves to you I'm not worried about eating. I'm not necessarily worried about drinking. The quality of what I eat, the quality of what I drink, that's up for grabs, but not necessarily access to sustenance, right? So eat, that's not a problem. That's putting us out of whack in the economy. Play and develop, this is America, the greatest place on earth. There's not necessarily much of a limit on the things I can do, I'm allowed to do, just the things I'm willing to do. So the play and develop portion isn't that much of a problem either, because there's plenty of opportunities to get further educated for anyone, and there's plenty of opportunities to go into particular trades and this and that, the fourth, and whatever you want to do. There's communities for you to get connected to. So it must be sleep, the shelter, and we all know the homelessness epidemic in the Americas is wild. The housing crisis and prices in America is absolutely wild. Why is that? So if we want to figure that out, we have to acknowledge it is a problem. And then we have to ask ourselves why it's a problem. It's a problem because of supply and demand. It's a problem because common people families are getting divided more and more, and less families are actually being built effectively. But I digress. Now that we have addressed that the main thing causing capitalism economics in America to go all out of whack is that sleep, that shelter, that home. Let's dive into that. The homelessness to housing market keeps climbing to supply more and more individuals in place of families. It used to be indentured servitude and slavery for you to be able to live here and get room and board and this and that such. It used to be called slavery and indentured servitude, right? Now it's capitalist indentured servitude with extra steps. Well, you're not really a slave, you're not really this, you're not really that, but you are perpetually stuck fighting to have a home, be you have a family or even if you don't, because there are more individuals with houses than there are families with houses. It's hard for families to even earn enough to get a house because there are more and more individuals buying up and buying out the market on these houses. And in particular, they're buying them on loan, on credit. So they're not even technically actually owning anything themselves. There are more individuals trying to leapfrog the initial ideology that get yourself your acre and your mule, get yourself your land, your home for your family, for you and your family. And because of these self-inflated self-importances being put around, that was projected to be the American dream. Anyone can go out there and be who the hell they want to be. Anyone can go and make it in Hollywood, but not everyone. anyone, but not everyone. Not everyone can. So the majority of people in one of them years, back in the younger years of my day, it became such a normal thing to for people, for individuals to try and make it big by themselves. Make it big on credit. Selling yourself into indentured servitude and effectively slavery to capitalism. You sold yourself, you played yourself, and you ruined yourself and your future and your potential future family. This indentured servitude lifestyle is getting harder and harder for more and more people to escape in 2025 in the Western world, because American capitalist economics was built on eat, sleep, play, and develop. People got so misinformed and ruined by all the options, better quality eating, all the better quality play, and the what they should be doing to develop in place of securing their home. Now there are fewer and fewer people owning their resting assets. I was about to say resting places. There are fewer and fewer people owning where they sleep and just renting it, indentured servituding themselves out for a place to sleep, because that's just how it is. Next point was that there are more built, this is a statistic, there are more built homes than there are more built homes to living people than there was ever before. Ironically so. Which is ironic. How are we one of the worst homelessness epidemic places in the world? How are we one of the top ones with rising homelessness epidemics? How is that possible in America if in America we have the highest percentage of homes to individuals that would need homes? I can tell you why. It's because more individuals, we also have the highest number of individuals owning homes without a family than there are families owning homes. If you go to places like Japan, Korea, and I'm pretty sure the statistics and research I found also showed that Germany and most of Russia, most of the places that own homes and own land in those areas, those big names, even Italy, especially Italy, all those places have families, and sometimes more than one. People who own the homes and own the residences are families. They built up their headquarters, their place to sleep, their place to rest, their place to fall back and come to on families. Because the American founding fathers said, I like this. We want to secure this quality in economics for our people. So America made it easiest for families to come together and get something. Get that house they need. Have access to the food and the products, the drinks they need for their homes. Those household goods, they made it easiest so that you can go about working and playing and developing however you so choose. You can have this equal opportunity to go live your life because food and house and land was secured and made easily accessible and stable for all of the American people. And we don't know who exactly started it. We can point fingers all we want, but that's honestly not important. what is important is that we need to recognize that American capitalist economics will only stop getting worse for the common people when common people families stop dividing. Next talking point, or tail end of this talking point here, right? More and more single people are getting homes they can't or don't actually end up keeping. More and more single people are coming out and getting homes earlier and earlier in their lives than ever before. And that is what is setting the all home pricing on the skyrocket up and up, getting to be exclusively just higher and higher, quicker than ever, and making it harder for families to get homes, because individuals are going out here on this in the market and putting themselves and other people and other families on the streets, making homelessness increased at higher percentage rates than ever before that has ever existed anywhere. Homelessness is on the rise. Next talking point. The capitalist American dream was set up in a way that makes it easiest for families to set up stable headquarters for themselves. The capitalist American dream made it easiest for families to go ahead and build in on and build up from, so that families could then thus branch out, so that the individuals could be successful and great. The capitalist American dream made it so it was easy for families that got together to be better together and better than ever. That was and that will always be what the American capitalist dream set up and was structured toward and for. And that last talking point here for the capitalism economics is that the richest corporate Americans, companies and stuff, they all supply the demands. Those companies, those corporate businesses, they supply the demands of regular, stable household daily conveniences. And that is why they never go broke, because their most reliable profits from the goods or services they're giving out come from the stable homes. And I'm gonna tell you a secret, all of their quickest profits, their biggest profits, come from those that either were never told how to not lose their home, or those that tend to waste their family's wealth. Hashtag that prodigal son mentality, right? All the richest corporate American people and companies and jobs, they supply the needs of families, of homes. They supply the needs of homes. Everyone needs a phone. So all the tech companies and phone industries will never go broke. All the people who work in infrastructure, let alone the people who own the infrastructure, they will never go broke, because everyone needs it. Every family in every house in every county in every city in every backwater swamp needs infrastructure, be they on the grid or off the grid. You need it. So the corporate businesses and the companies will never go broke, because they supply the demands of families. And that makes them rich. So they have the most reliable, steady income sources, because their source of income is the family. And their quickest or relatively biggest profits that come in lump sums is from those that disregard their families. and opt for individuality before their familial ties. So capitalism, at least American capitalist economics, will only stop getting worse for the common people when common people families stop dividing. That is why. But hey, that's just me, the Millenia Mailman, here today, giving you that devil's advocate hot take for the week. Week number 8. By all means, if you enjoy or like what I had to say or agree with any of that, go ahead and put that like button down in that down in that space below. Also in that space below, in that comment section down below, put your questions, comment, concerns. I will always read them as much as possible, as often as possible, as best as I can keep up with. And go ahead, share the video if you think this topic of conversation deserves a touch more exposure. And by all means, subscribe if you feel like it, because I will be posting every single day until my book of this Realm of Millenia series is published. All right? You can look forward to a new video every single day until my book is published. But by all means, enjoy. Bye.